Hey guys, it's Jess, and I'm here today to do a book review on Sisters Red by Jackson Pearce. Okay, what is this book about? Well, Sisters Red is about sisters, of course, Scarlet and Rosie. And when they were very young, they were attacked by a werewolf. But in this book, they call them the Fenris. And their grandmother was killed, and Scarlet, in her attempt to save Rosie, who is the younger sister, she was horribly, horribly scarred. She did kill the Fenris, but ultimately she has permanent disfigurement, and the Fenris even took her eye. So it was an awful event. Since then, they have been taught by the woodsman, who was a friend of their grandmother's, how to fight and kill the Fenris. So that's what they've been doing ever since. And Scarlet, as you can imagine, because of what she's been through, she is very focused on killing the Fenris. It's all she thinks about. It's all she wants is for there someday to be a day when the Fenris are all dead and gone. Now, Rosie also wants the Fenris to be gone, but she is younger and, she wants more out of life than just to be a hunter. And but she's afraid to talk to her sister about it because her sister saved her life. And so she feels like she needs to stay with her sister and continue to fight, even though she wants this sort of normal teenage life. Then they have a friend named Silas, and Silas is the woodsman's son. And he was actually out of town for a year, but now he's come back. And Silas and Rosie started to develop a relationship, but they are, again, afraid to tell Scarlet about it because they're just not sure how she'd react. And this is a particularly sensitive time because they're realizing that more and more Fenris are coming into their small little town. And they really need to get to the bottom of it. So they decide to pack up everything and move to Atlanta, where the pack leaders are for all of the Fenris. And they're hoping to find out what's happening, why are so many Fenris in the area, and is there anything they can do to stop it. So without giving too much away, that's basically what the book is about, is the three of them moving to Atlanta, trying to figure out what's happening with the Fenris and how to stop it. Okay, so what did I think of this book? I have to admit, I was a little disappointed by this book, and you don't know how much I hate to say that. I really do. I think that was part of the problem is I had really high expectations. But anyway, I'll get to those reasons in a minute. But first, I want to talk about what I really loved about this book. And I have to start. I mean, this is completely superficial, but I have to start with the cover. I mean, this is an amazing cover. I love everything about it. I love the artwork. I love the striking colors. I think it's beautiful. I also really love the story idea. I think Little Red Riding Hood meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer is just a really cool, creative idea. I love that the girls in this story are not meek, passive girls who are letting, the men do all the work. I mean, these are kick-ass heroines. I mean, they are kicking butt and taking names. They are strong women, and we need more characters like that. So I loved the story idea. I thought it was very, very, very cool. Another thing I really liked is I really thought the characters were well developed. I mean, whether you liked them or not, they all had solid backstories. You knew what they wanted. You knew what they were afraid of, what their weaknesses were. So I thought that they were really well drawn. I really got a sense reading the story of what they were all about, which made the story easier to relate to. I also really loved the way she handled the action scenes, and that is not a small thing. I mean, I have a little tiny bit of experience with this because of my former fan fiction days, but writing an action scene can be really tough because, number one, you have to make it exciting. You have to believe that there's something at stake, that there's danger, that the main character may not make it out. So that has to be there. You have to make sure that it's believable. I mean, if you're dealing with humans, you can't have them all of a sudden wrap their foot around their waist. I mean, it has to be realistic, then you also have to make it clear to the reader, because when we're reading it, we want to be able to see the scene play out in our head, which can be tough if there's too much going on. So it's a really fine balance of finding enough going on that it doesn't get confusing, and yet having enough going on that it's still really interesting and you're gripped in the action sequences. So I thought she wrote those really well, because those are tough. And then I loved the ending. I mean, because at the end of the day, this book for me was all about the dynamics between the two sisters. And the ending with the epilogue really, really brought that home for me, that relationship and how special it is and how much they care about each other. So I thought that ending really, really moved me. I liked that a lot. Okay. Here's what I didn't like. And the first one is really the main thing I really didn't like. Um, I guess the big twist, if not earlier, at least within the first 100 pages of this book, which was devastating because most of the book was about figuring that out. And if you already know what's going to be revealed when you have to read through, 100 plus pages to get to that big moment, it's completely anticlimactic because you're sort of like, yeah, I already knew that. So that was the biggest bummer for me in this book. And I guess with the author there were too many obvious clues for me. I hope when you read it, I hope you don't guess. Another thing is, and I think it's because I'm such a fan of Jackson Pearce's YouTube channel, I think she is so, so funny and sharp. And I guess I thought I'd see more of that in the dialogue of the book. She's so sparkling and fun. And I guess I thought that the dialogue would be wittier, more clever. Now, don't get me wrong, there were definitely lines that I laughed out loud and I thought that they were really good lines. But on the whole, I found the dialogue kind of boring. I felt like all three characters, if you were to hear them speak, Scarlett was going to be like, why aren't we hunting? We should be hunting. It's our duty to hunt. Are we going to go hunt? We need to hunt. And then Rosie is going, yes, Scarlett, we do need to go hunt. But, I'm also looking for, a normal life too. And oh my gosh, I just don't know what to do. And then Silas is going, yes, Scarlett, we need to hunt. And it's important that we hunt. But Rosie, I don't want you to be afraid to have your own life too. And I felt like throughout the book, we just kept hearing them say the same things over and over and over again, which just got kind of repetitive for me. Now, I thought that the inner dialogue was handled really well, but the actual words that they say to each other, it wasn't as funny as I wanted it to be. And then the last thing was that the romance was very secondary for me. I thought it was sweet, but it was, I don't know. It's hard to find that sort of zing that you're looking for when you're reading a really good romance. But for me, I'm always looking for, when they finally get together, when they finally kiss or they look and they know and all of that, I'm looking for, stirrings to happen. And with this book, there just weren't any stirrings. I don't know. I felt their relationship to be sort of sort of trite. So yeah, I thought the dynamics between the sisters was much, much more interesting. So obviously, I did have some issues with this book, but on the whole, I'm still gonna say I did like it, and I'm definitely gonna read more of Jackson's books. But because I had issues and yet I still liked it, I decided to just go straight down the middle with this. So I'm giving Sisters Read by Jackson Pearce 3 stars. Because I didn't love it. I didn't even especially like it, but I did like it. I certainly didn't dislike it, and I didn't hate it at all. I definitely, there were glimmers of awesomeness. And then, of course, there were the issues that I've already mentioned. So, yeah, for me, Sisters Read, 3 stars. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.